I might die of hypoglycemia. Hello.
Okay. Are we just about ready? Yep. We'll kick off, and with any luck, we might be able to make up some time here. I will throw to my colleagues from the Coalition. Senator Patterson? Oh, no. Senator Bragg.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you about the matters that we initially canvassed with the Secretary this morning. I think you were here for that.
I was, yeah.
Ms Anderson. So, the inquiry into the governance issues at Housing Australia. So, when did the inquiry take place?
Senator, sorry, I should introduce myself. Victoria Anderson, Deputy Secretary, Small Business, Corporate and Law Group. So, as noted by the Secretary this morning, there were concerns raised in relation to Housing Australia in late 2023. Treasury commissioned an independent review at the request of the former Minister, and the review found no breach of the Housing Australia Board of Conduct had occurred. That investigation occurred in the early parts of 2024.
Okay. And what form was the report in?
The review report was
done internally?
No, we contracted an independent company to do that review on our behalf.
Okay, who did the report?
A company called Intersection.
What do they do?
They do these sorts of workplace investigations.
Was it an HR style
yes, largely. I would characterise it as that, yeah.
Okay, and how much did that inquiry cost?
That inquiry cost $24,640.
$24,000?
Just over that, yes.
And what's the name of the company?
Intersection.
Intersection. Okay, and so they did their job in early 2024?
That's right.
And they provided you with a report?
They provided it to Treasury, yes.
And who did you provide the report to?
We provided that report to the Minister at the time after it was received.
What was the Minister's role in this process?
Well, the complaint was against the statutory appointee from the Minister, so the Minister was interested in understanding the issues to ensure that it was appropriate, that the appropriate action was taken in relation to the concerns. And
was it a report under the PGPA Act?
No, Senator.
It wasn't?
No.
Okay. So it was a report, it was a review done on the basis that there'd been complaints?
That's right. There were concerns raised, yes.
But not under the PGPA Act?
No.
And why is that?
Well, there is no referral power under the PGPA Act. It was the accountable authority for Housing Australia, which is a corporate entity, is the board itself. And the reference to the Minister came from the management of Housing Australia at the time.
Okay. And how many complaints were there made?
Senator, I'm not going to go into the detail of the report. It's quite unusual to be talking about an investigation report in an open hearing because there are many different equities involved from both complainants and respondents. So I'm in this forum, I don't think it's appropriate that I go through the detail of the review report.
But the issue is not to do with the disclosing of personal information. It's to do with the functioning of the board. So I guess the question is then, what are the recommendations of the report?
So again, it's not something I'm willing to go into at this point. I know you have an active FOI for that report, Senator, that's before the Information Commissioner. So at this point in time, we would prefer to wait until the outcome of that.
But as you know, Ms Anderson, the way that the FOI law works, well, the way that they work at the moment, unless the government is successful in gutting them, is that the FOI has no relevance to Senate estimates or the processes of Senate discovery.
Yes, and I think what I'm saying to you is while we have an FOI on foot, we would prefer not to talk about it. There are other reasons like personal privacy, the sanctity of sort of the investigations process. If I talk about one report, there could be any number of things that would require me to talk about people's personal information. So again, I don't think it's appropriate that I talk about the detail of the report.
Okay. So I'm not asking you to provide personal information. I'm asking you what were the recommendations of a governance report which cost taxpayers $24,000.
So I've indicated to you, Senator, the investigation was into certain concerns raised and that whether or not there were issues relating to the conduct of someone at Housing Australia, and as a result of that, the investigator found there was no breach. So I'm happy to talk about that. I think the other matters would be something I would need to take on notice.
So, when you say there's no breach of what?
Of the Housing Australia Board Code of Conduct.
Okay, but are there improvements that are going to be made as a result of this report?
I would probably leave to Housing Australia exactly the nature of the improvements that they have made. I mean, this it's important to note this was 2 years ago, so obviously quite a bit has occurred since these issues were raised. So yes, there have been significant, I think, changes in both management and in senior management roles and various other things that Housing Australia would be able to talk to more directly.
So the Secretary said this morning that there was a view that the government needed to have a stronger linkage, I think was her wording, into Housing Australia to ensure that it could achieve the government's aims, which is a reasonable proposition. I mean, what is the driver there? Is it a governance concern? Is there a performance concern? I'm interested in why your agency has decided to appoint an observer.
Oh, the observer role. Again, I would defer to my colleagues this evening, but I would say that has always been a provision in the legislation. Even the earlier organisation, which was NIFIC, or National Housing Infrastructure Financing Corporation, I may have got that wrong, sorry Hansard. So NIFIC, the legislation had provision for an observer, and I think there has been an observer in the past. The housing, in the conversion to Housing Australia, was obviously a big step up in the responsibilities that organisation had, and the provision has always been there to have an observer, and recently the Minister decided to enact that, as far as I understand. But again, that would be something that Housing Group would be more familiar with than me.
And who is the delegate?
I believe it's the Deputy Secretary responsible for housing, which would now be Mr Ben Rimmer, who only commenced last week.
Okay, he is the person.
I believe he is the observer. You would need to confirm that with him later today, but I believe that position is designated as the observer position.
Okay, so I guess my question here, though, is are you raising a public interest immunity claim in relation to the recommendations of the governance report?
So, Senator, I would like to take on notice to determine if that is the case, if that needs to be the case. I've talked a little bit about the issues that that arose. There are other issues intertwined with that, and I would need to take on notice as to whether or not we're in a position to be able to provide that to you. And so the government, the Minister may wish to make a public interest immunity claim. I don't know.
So I guess I need to seek...
You're at 8 minutes.
I guess I need to seek guidance here as to whether or not you are able to file that PII claim, or whether the Minister needs to do that. So I'm just seeking advice from...
So the officials take it on notice and will...
I'm not sure that's right, though.
We'll consider our approach to that question. What she said, of course, is there's a series of questions, of course, that you're entitled to get responses to, and you have. But that the principle here, beyond the PII question, is that there's an investigation that's been commissioned. There's findings. I'm sympathetic about an approach that says there should be some caution about revealing the outcomes of investigation that may in fact reveal the details of the investigation. Sure. With that caution, we'll take it on notice, and we'll work out the officials will work out the best response.
Thanks, Minister. So I guess for the record, for clarity, the information that I'm seeking from the official are the recommendations of the $24,000 report, not seeking the internal human relations matters. I'm wanting to know what are the recommendations out of that report. My understanding is that the standing orders require the information to be provided, or for the Minister to file a public interest immunity claim.
And it might turn out, Senator, that that's entirely appropriate for that to be provided to you. But the official's taken on notice and she's entitled to do that.
So I'm just seeking advice here from Secretary.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Is that right?
Yes.
So you can take it on notice,
Yes.
even though they've got the information?
The official didn't indicate that, and the official, as
Well,
I
I'm
understood
seeking the
it,
recommendations of the report.
under
Yeah, I don't have the recommendations of the report with me, but I
Right.
would maintain I would need to take this on notice in order to determine whether or not there is a grounds for a public interest immunity claim.
Okay. Well, do you know what the recommendations are?
I do, yes.
You do. So
Yes.
that's what I'm asking you for.
Yes, I understand what you're asking for, Senator.
So they have the information. I'm now asking whether or not they are filing a PII claim or not.
Senator, the official said that she knows what the recommendations are. It doesn't mean she has the recommendations in front of her. I'm not sure whether they're half a page or 1 page or 20 pages. I have no idea. But she's indicated that she's proposing to take that question on notice and she's entitled to do that.
Well, I'm not sure that is right. So I guess, I mean, this is a matter of great public interest given there's billions of dollars in this scheme. It hasn't been very successful. It's got a major governance issue. They're sitting on a report. They know what the recommendations are. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. So I guess I'm seeking advice as to whether or not they are going to file a PII claim, which I think they have to do.
I think, sorry, Senator, perhaps I can help as well. Erin Wells, I'm the Chief Legal Counsel for the Treasury. So I believe that under Senate Order Standing Order number 10, that the PII claim can only be made by ministers or
That's
in
right.
limited cases by statutory office holders. So we're not able to, as officers, to make the PII claim. So we will need to take that on notice and consult.
Are you making a PII claim, Minister?
I agree that the assertion that the official's just made is correct and we'll take our approach. She's entitled to take it on notice. She's taken on notice. I think earlier today the schedule for providing answers to questions that have been taken on notice has been provided to you.
So where does that leave us? I think they need to
So I
provide that
think-
in. I think you need to provide the PII in writing, though.
well, the minister
That
can come
will
back.
be in the response to the questions when it's provided. It'll indicate whether or not there's an answer, a partial answer with a PII or no answer with a PII.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's go. I mean, given that you've raised this FOI in this forum, which is not directly relevant, given that we're in Senate estimates and we have our own rules of discovery. I mean, we're trying to get to the bottom of things here. That's the whole point of the inquiry function of the Senate, as difficult as it may be. Now, the FOI that you refer to, which was from, I think, 10 January 2025, it sought access to this information. Now, the Treasury denied that information and set out reasons for the decision. Was that something that you dealt with directly, Ms Anderson, or was that someone else?
I was not the decision maker for that.
Okay, I think
decision.
it was Mr Axelby.
Yeah, that would be right. Heath Axelby.
Is he
yes.
here?
No, he no longer works with Treasury.
Okay, my apologies. Can someone speak to the FOI?
Oh, well, we can speak in general terms to the FOI, not the specifics of the decision, Senator, between
Right.
Ms Wells and myself.
Very transparent. So you asserted that, well, not you personally, but the Treasury said that you could neither confirm nor deny.
That's right.
Right. Now, are you aware that this assertion can only be applied in situations where the documents are exempt under Section 33, which is national security, or Section 45A 2 and 3, which is the Parliamentary Budget Office documents?
I'm not personally aware of that, Senator, but
Okay. Well,
as I said, I wasn't the decision maker in this
but I
case.
understand that. But I mean, this is the Treasury of Australia, and you're filing incorrect FOI exemptions to people who are seeking information. I mean, this is not very transparent information. We can't get to the bottom of the information through Senate estimates. We can't get to the bottom of the information through FOI using the wrong exemptions. So Well, I mean, it is true. You cannot use that exemption for that purpose. So who can speak to why this exemption has been used incorrectly?
Senator, I heard from either you or the official, I can't remember which, that this matter between you and Treasury is with the Information Commissioner at the moment.
That's right.
And no doubt you'll litigate those issues with them. It's hard for, if there are proceedings on foot, it's hard for, you have the advantage here of privilege and a range of things.
It's not working very well, is it? We can't get any information.
It's hard for, I maintain you have the advantage, Senator. It's hard for the officials to respond given, the matters being dealt with, and no doubt the subject of backwards and forwards between the department and the Information Commissioner and you and the Information Commissioner, and I think
Okay, well,
I'm reluctant to let the details of that.
Detail matters.
Yes, but it's a matter for the Information Commissioner. It's on foot. It might be better for.
It's not. It's Treasury. They filed the letter.
It might be better for you to agitate that issue following the Information Commissioner's determination.
Thank you.
I just don't know what the status of that is. Somebody's asserted that it's there. I'm reluctant to let the discussion proceed too much further.
Thank you, Minister. So
we can go much further.
Well, I have a question for the Treasury official. So, can I ask, who is responsible for FOI now at the table? Who can I talk to about that?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, so...
Can I ask you?
Yes, you can ask me.
Okay. So, as you know, in relation to the blockage of this particular report or this matter, not you personally, but the Treasury said they could neither confirm nor deny that these documents existed. Now, as you know, under the FOI provisions, while they exist, long may they exist, I should say, the only way that particular exemption can be used is in relation to national security or PBO documents. So why did Treasury use that particular exemption in relation to this Housing Australia matter?
Well, I think actually, Senator, that under Section 26 there is a very standard way of being able to utilise that, and I think the decision letter that referred to as from my former colleague, Mr Axelby, actually referred to, he was invoking those exemptions under Sections 47E, C and 47F of the FOI Act, but my colleague David Hertzberg can also elaborate on the standard exemption of Section 26, if that's helpful for you.
So, Senator David Hertzberg, Acting General Counsel at Treasury. So, Section 26, subsection 2 essentially says that a decision letter doesn't need to reveal exempt material. And that's not limited to national security grounds. That could relate to any exemption. And so the essence of Mr Axelby's decision was that in revealing whether or not Treasury held documents, that revelation would be exempt in itself. And that's what 26.2 allows.
Can I tell you what's wrong with this?
You're probably better off without it.
Can I tell you what's wrong with this as I segue to a question? That the documents actually do exist. The documents actually do exist. So you've used an exemption saying that we neither confirm nor deny, and we've just heard evidence this morning, the documents do exist. So, I mean, what sort of a show are you running down there at the Treasury where you're signing these documents? It looks very dodgy, I have to say. So I'd like to know what you're going to do in future to be more upfront about FOI requests when you know the documents exist. It's not a very good look.
Senator, there were reasons in this instance. We would normally disclose the existence of documents, but as Mr Hertzberger said, there was a reasonable case here, and we are talking about the reputation of individuals, the nature of your question under FOI related to an individual, and had we confirmed, at that point in time it was not known in the public domain that this review occurred. It is quite important that people are able to go through these processes in some degree of confidence. I understand you're interested in this, and I understand that we do have an obligation to be as transparent as we can, but we are balancing the personal privacy of individuals, the reputation of individuals, and we also take that seriously. We do not want to compromise the ability for complainants and respondents to have some privacy over these matters while they're being considered.
I understand that the governance of an agency which is expending billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer funds is of great public interest. So I respect your view that you want to protect people's personal privacy, and we all agree with that. But the recommendations of the report that you said you weren't sure whether it even existed, when you knew it existed, which I think
we didn't say we weren't sure if it existed. We said we cannot. Well, exactly. That's not saying we don't know that it existed.
Well,
we were not intending to, and did not mislead you.
It's not very transparent.
Well,
it's not the answer that you want to hear.
Senator
It's not transparent.
Is within the bounds of.
It is not transparent. It's not a good look.
It's just
Senator
not what
Bragg,
you want to
we're-
hear, Senator
We're at
Bragg.
20
That's all.
minutes. Would you like to pass the call?
So I guess in closing, I think my point has been made that we have sought to get to the bottom of this through FOI and through the Senate processes. I have to say to you that I still don't think we're actually at the bottom of it, so we look forward to your PII claim, if you are going to make one over the recommendations of the report, which I think you are supposed to make